Hello, this is Vance, and this is September the 9th, Wednesday, 2015. These are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. Kind of an interesting day today on the CL. We had quite a bit of movement, particularly in the overnight. We had a kind of a sell-off from a high of just over $46, $46.20 on the overnight. Price sold off just before the until almost straight down till about just about 8 o'clock this morning, and then we had kind of a recovery. If you're in the market or looking at, there's a couple of movements here, but I was looking more along the lines that after having this pretty long of the overnight, that I was looking for maybe another unmeasured move down, but I didn't get here till just after 8 o'clock, and I wasn't really convinced price was going that much higher. Retesting this area because of the way it was moving early on before the open, and until about 9 o'clock. And this is really 9 o'clock. Price sold off, and then it had this nice real pattern right here. This is the second entry long on this really strong bar. You figure you're going to at least retest this high again, or maybe even this the overnight high. It looked like it was going to be pretty strong, but at least this double top right here. And you can see price moved up fairly rapidly, and then when it really reached this double top, it kind of sold off pretty quickly. And even if you're looking at this, you could say that maybe this is a wider channel. I didn't mark this one, but more like a channel maybe perhaps like this, off the top and the bottom, but more of like a range type day, or a range type like a slow moving or pretty wide channel anyway. That's what I was looking at. Price did go up here. Now, to sell off at this, we only have the break of the short-term channels. Now, I'd like to address that a little bit as well. I draw these little channels in here, these narrow channels, and in order for it to look at maybe taking a trade in one direction or another, I want to see a break of the channel, maybe a retest to a new high or a new low before I would take that trade. And so, I mean, not necessarily all the time, but certainly if you're just trying to learn the slow hand method for price actions, that's something to really keep in mind. And you can see that this channel, as it traded up and is fairly tight, we do have a break here. It is a second entry short. You can look at this as a first entry, second entry short, but there really isn't any other indication. It is beyond this channel. It might go up higher to here, so it's really kind of dicey to take a short here. But as you can see, price did sell off. Now, it breaks this wider channel right here, comes back down to this level, and this is the first move. And so I was looking at this as really the first move off this high. So you had the first move down here. Price recovers the first time, pulls back, pulls to a new low. Second time, and this is really like a trap. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we're gonna have this. Mark this as a green, and we maybe have another leg, and you can see that it was another leg down from the top of this channel. So you've got this kind of tight trading range. You've got room to get out. So this wasn't a bad trade. It didn't really get up. The momentum appeared to be more to the downside. And then I was looking at this area right here. Let me just mark that one. I was looking at maybe having. Here's the double bottom right here. And I was thinking that maybe there's going to be some hesitation if you look right across in this area. And you can see there did develop some support. Price comes down, it breaks this channel, comes down here, but there really wasn't a good setup to look at it going to the other side of this channel right here. So there wasn't really a good setup in here. We do have a break, a test to a new low, like a new low off of this one. Pretty close to this bottom here, and I thought this was a good place to go long as well. You get room to get to the double top, maybe retesting the side of the channel, and you can see they overshot pretty quickly. So I marked this as a pretty a little bit more favorable trade, because you can see there's capitulation here from this one, capitulation here, and then likely from here. And I was really thinking that maybe we'd have a reversal back to the overnights, but that wasn't to be. Price was just too weak, and this quite rapid move up. Sellers took it right back down again. So price came up, a second entry short right here, and of course, and I'm thinking that the bias is going to continue to be down, at least retesting these areas. You can see we had hesitation here, some more hesitation. This was overshot, so this was really kind of like a bottom. I'll show you later on in the day how things did really transpire. We had a bit change as we went later on there. So let's take a look at, let's mark that again. So let's go back to this one. You had the sell off to here, which turned out to be a real decent trade, came back. This was not a bad trade. I was thinking like this would give you your 15 ticks, but it overshot and then sold off. So it was really not much more than just your first targets. Price came back here, second entry short right in this area. So if you say this is a failed exercise, these are pretty long. You see this overlap. Price comes up here, fails first time, attempts to go up the second time. So this here is a failed second entry long from off of this one. First entry, second entry long, failed second entry long, which turned into a second entry short. First entry, second entry short. Now it took a while to work out. If as long as your stop was above the signal bar here, or the entry bar, you were okay. You can see that there's movement down in this area. I marked this one too, and the reason I marked this one as a long is because price comes down here, she's the bottom of this channel, and I was still looking at respecting this area, this bounce here. I think maybe there would be some more resistance on this area, even from this one. And you can see price came down first time, second time. It came back to the other channel, and then it failed. So this is a second entry short right here. I didn't really mark this one, but again, I was thinking, here's your first leg down, pulls back, here's another leg down, pulls back, and even a third leg down. Now, price gets to the bottom, and again, I was still thinking that there were maybe some support in this area. This turned to be this is a little bit of a trap. Sellers are thinking maybe taking prices down here lower, but we have this turnaround. Again, a green trade, and it did work its way out. Now, I was looking at more along the support. This is a pretty aggressive trade, but I was thinking, we're kind of range bound in here from this area, perhaps down to this area, more of a range. And I was looking at maybe that this would be more support. There was a little bit of a hesitation. It almost makes it back to this area, but then it falls off again. And let me just show this. So really a mixed bag. There's a lot of stuff that was going on today. So let me just move this a little bit further. And then from then on, once price broke this area, this comes into this range. So if you see, we're traded down into this range. Let's make this a little bit longer. Traded down into this range. And if we call this range, let's call this from here to here, which is a pretty wide range. Price trade down into this range. Remember the two moves. You say it was one from here, pulls back, trades down into this range, pulls back, and even down even further. And really was unbroken for most of the rest of the day. Is there a trade here? I never really marked it. It's not only it's after 12, it's 12:30, but yeah, you could take a trade here. I mean, if you're looking at it from the standpoint, if you think there's a wider channel in here like this, maybe, or perhaps like this, off of here, these ones, and that fits not bad. Off these tops like this, if you're looking at something like that, it's working its way down. And if we double this up, become like a wider channel like here, like this. Something like that, maybe. And maybe it'll be a little more clear to take that trade in this area. But it was later in the day anyways. I think, the bias was down, some kind of rapid movements. Now we're down at $44 a barrel. You can see that price was heading down a little bit more. If you stuck to the precepts, there's a number of trades here. Some have moved up pretty quickly. A more aggressive trader you can see a little bit more of that, but especially if you're buying blind. But that's a tough thing to do. I haven't really talked about that. I'm relying on second entries. But when you see like areas like this, can you buy below these areas like this? That's something that Al Brooks does. In the opposite direction, especially when he sees a double top or a double bottom. And he will buy like one tick above or one tick below where he sees this bottom. Like he would buy something under here, looking at the price action. This is on the ES, of course, especially if there's exhaustion on something like this one right here, on the move like this. So that's something that he will do. But it's if you got in the trades, I think it was not really easy to see. It was quite a bit of movement back and forth. Buyers and sellers were really having a difficult time today. No one really gained control. Ultimately, if you look at the trend, was mostly down. So sellers really won out over the day. There was more sellers than buyers, obviously, because price did move its way down. But it wasn't really unbroken, except for maybe later in the day. So we talk about just after 1 o'clock, we had this move right down here. But up until that time, you know, it was like there was wrestling for control, and you didn't put this channel into the end of the day. You could see that it actually really fits pretty good. So you can see that the bias was typically down. Anyway, that's it for now. If you have any questions, you can let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.